All right, folks, we're really excited here to be joined by Jorge Cervantes via Skype from Barcelona, Spain. Jorge, thanks for joining us in what's the evening for you.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Russ. It's really good to be back here in Spain. You know, I lived here for so many years, and I've been in America a couple of years, and I just miss it here. It's a wonderful place.
It's beautiful. I wish I could visit sometime, and who knows, maybe someday I will. Jorge, we're really excited to have you here because, of course, you've been contributing to the Normal Network with your videos from jorgecervantes.tv, and I encourage anyone to check those out at the website. And, of course, you're written so many books that people swear by as far as marijuana cultivation goes. We've got you here today because you got a new DVD out that we want to tell people about, so let's tell them about it. What's the new DVD about?
Well, yeah, actually, it's really pretty cool. We shot most of it. Part of it here we shot in Barcelona, actually. Yeah, the intro and the exit we shot, just up the hill over here in Parque Güell, or Well Park to most people, in Parque Güell. But anyway, the rest of it we shot in Northern California, and it's the Green Giants the Green Giants of California. Canaventures with Jorge Cervantes. Canaventures, Green Giants of California. And, man, I mean, go through and see some great gardens. I'm not kidding. These gardens are #1. One of the gardens, for example, was grown by a third-generation grower from up there. And that's where you'll see the 10-pound plants.
Right.
And we go through everything about it, you know, exactly how to grow a 10-pound plant.
It's remarkable. And, of course, we're talking about a lot of, especially out here on the West Coast, where we have the medical marijuana statutes that say you can only have a certain number of plants. Well, then it makes sense to try to maximize what you're going to yield from each plant.
Well, that's right, you know, and say if you can grow in California, we also have a home in California. In my county there, we're supposed to be able to grow 6 plants. Well, you can either grow 6 1-pound plants or 6 10-pound plants. Yeah, I mean, you can make the decision yourself, you know. It takes a little bit more work, but it's not too tough. And it's not expensive at all either. You can grow this cannabis for less than $10 an ounce.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, way less.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so folks will be able to find out how to get this DVD on your website and other outlets?
Yeah, you can find it at jorgecervantes.tv, and also you'll be able to find it on Amazon.com. You can actually download it streaming. I don't know, it's all these new terms. Stream it down from Amazon.com, watch it on your iPhone, your iPad, or and that should be available in the next week or so. And then after that, we've got them being made right now as we speak in high definition Blu-ray.
Oh,
and we shot everything in HD. You can blow it up as big as you want, you know, and see the plants life size.
Oh, wow.
Great.
That's going to be a great DVD. Everyone check that out at jorgecervantes.tv, and we'll have links up at our blog at stash.normal.org. And Jorge, you've been writing about and cultivating cannabis for years and years and years now, and of course we've seen a great development in people's skill and ability to cultivate cannabis plants over the decades. Is there anything that's happening now new in techniques or technology that's got you really excited about cannabis cultivation?
Well, as far as techniques, you know, I mean, the last 10 years I've been really an outdoor grower, and I love growing outdoors because number one, it's natural, it's under the sun. There's a few things that are really, really cool. Number one, I'd say, are these auto-flowering feminized plants that are coming out. They've been here in Europe for the last 5 years, and they've been quite big. They actually originated in Poland, and it was a Canadian breeder, a joint doctor that had that little one. It was about this high, super little guy, the lowrider.
Yeah.
And they got it over here in Spain, first in Switzerland and then in Spain later. and worked it up, and now you can get these plants in, they've crossed them with everything. They've got the taste tasting really good. The resin is very high, got a high cannabinoid level. They've got them so it'll grow a meter tall, that's about 40 inches, and it'll produce at least 100 grams. 100 grams is almost 4 ounces per plant. The cool part is about them, you plant it say on day one, well, 70 days later, you've got a complete a plant that's ready to harvest. That goes from seed to harvest in 70 days.
Wow.
And they will flower under any light regimen. You give it 24 hours of light, guaranteed to flower. That's one of the big things. And then also just this technology. I've known about big plants for years and been growing them for years. But it's just they're a lot more popular right now because of the limited number of plants people can grow. Those are the big things. And then the other things that I'm really interested in, very excited about, is the cannabinoid testing that all of the labs in California are doing. That's really raised the level everywhere. They used to do it in Netherlands, but there was really no reason to do it there. As a matter of fact, they were afraid to do it for a lot of years because they thought they would prove that the drug content was too high. You know, and it was. It was awfully high. But it's really sorted out a lot of things. You know, people have been claiming they had 30% cannabis or content of THC. That's physically impossible. It can only go up to 24%. That's it. You know, and then also the testing, the CBDs have been a huge thing. That's the cannabinol. It's the no-high part of the cannabis. But now, well, over at Resin Seeds and Mr. Nice Seeds, they've made a joint venture where they have a 1-to-1 ratio of THC and CBD in their varieties. So this stuff is what really, really amazes me. And as far as new products, yeah, I guess there's a bunch of those out there too. But I'm into the plants. That's what turns me on.
Well, you know, and there's something in your description of the plants there that I thought, you know, that I caught, and maybe a few other people heard, your use of the word varieties rather than strains. Could you explain that to people? Because I think they get that confused a lot.
Strain. A strain is a fungus. Fungus. They are lower plants. Lower plants do not need light to survive. They do not produce chlorophyll. You find strains of bacteria as well in your body. Strains do not exist in cannabis. The word's been misused for years. I went through a big, the last books I've written, I've used the word strains, and I'll have to say it was against my better judgment. I used them because it was a popular word, and nobody would know what the hell I was talking about unless I said strains. Well, that's not necessary any longer. You know, I'm not going to do it. Plants are grown out as varieties, and they're varietals. And, you know, to raise the whole level of the entire industry for people to take it seriously, because they damn well should. We're important people, and it's an important plant that we're helping out. So we should use the proper vocabulary here.
Excellent. So,
varieties.
Yeah, make a note of that, everyone. It's varieties, not strains. We're speaking with Jorge Cervantes, the legendary cannabis expert, and he's got a new DVD out. You got to check it out. It's out at jorgecervantes.tv. You know, the books that you've written and the education you've given to people through DVDs and streams and so forth has been invaluable to many cannabis cultivators. I'm wondering if you've seen not only that the best growers have gotten better, but the average level of grow knowledge has increased. Have you seen that amongst the average grower is better now than they were, 10, 20 years ago?
Yeah, actually, that's been a huge change. Because before, like I started at this publicly 30 years ago. And before that, I was in the industry a good strong 10 years, maybe a bit longer if you count everything. And back then, nobody knew anything. It was very hard to get good, clean information from people. One of the things that I remember from, really 30 years ago, was they were using those China hats, they call them, or cone reflectors that would have the bulb hanging straight down. And I asked at least 20 different manufacturers, and people that work for the manufacturer, why they were cone-shaped, and, you know, what's the deal there? Because I used my light meter, I purchased one of them, and I said, why is it this shape? Nobody had a valid answer for me. And finally, one guy told me, he goes, well, that's because they make the materials 4 feet wide. And so to get the most out of the material, we make a cone hood. And I thought, that's got nothing to do with growing plants. It's got everything to do with looking at the, you know, using the most of the material. So then I went to Netherlands and saw everybody had their lamp horizontally. And I thought, whoa, that's important. And then I talked to Jack Poot, or Poot, you say, PL Lingerie Lamp Lighting. They're the first big Dutch company, and talked to him. I asked him a million questions and found out some real simple answers. He had them real simple. As soon as you turn a lamp sideways, half of the light's reflected and half of it's direct. It's just inherently more better. I mean, well, it's more efficient. You know, that same thing has gone on and on and on throughout this entire industry. In fact, there's many, many examples of it today. You know, somebody will find something out that works. They keep that information to themselves, and they make money from it, and they share it with nobody. I can't mention it. I just won't mention any names, but I'm always turning over rocks and finding things I don't like underneath them.
Oh, Jorge, you know, we could sit here all day and just pick your brain of all the mass of knowledge that you've accumulated, but we're unfortunately limited for time here. So I want to remind everyone, check out jorgecervantes.tv, and you can catch replays of those videos on our video block. It's at 10 in the morning Pacific time, or if you're in Barcelona, Spain, it's at 7 at night. So you can catch those replays. And Jorge, again, give them information on the DVD, and if they want to contact you, how can they get a hold of Jorge Cervantes?
Oh, you can write me at Jorge at marijuanagrowing.com, and that's marijuana with a J, not a H like we spell it here. And yeah, that's easy. I've got a regular email there, and I answer my emails actually fairly regularly. And then I also just got off of about 10 minutes ago. I was on called Trees. It's on that site Reddit.
Correct.
REDDIT.com. Anyway, I'm going to be on there every week answering questions, and I answered, I don't know, about 60 questions there in the last hour. I can type really fast. So that's another way to get a hold of me.
Fantastic.
And then, and then also, I don't know if anybody's over in Europe often, but every year I make a point of going to the Spanabiz.com fair. It's the biggest fair in Europe. It's huge thing. And it's way bigger than anything in America. It's the biggest one in the world. And then also they've got there's another fair, cultiva.at. That's one I try to make. That's over in Austria. And then the other fair that I try to make every year is canatrade.ch. That's going to be right outside of Zurich this year in Switzerland. Yeah.
Wow. Very exciting time for those of you out there in Europe. Check out Jorge Cervantes at all of these different events, and the information will be up there at jorgecervantes.tv. Jorge, thanks again for all you're doing and for joining us here on the show. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much, Russ. I'm really, really happy you invited me. Thanks again.
All right.